Greetings everybody, Zed here. My goddess, my queen. Xilonen has finally graced us with her presence, and she is shaking up the Genshin meta like no character has since, well, probably Fiorina in patch 4.2. Not only is she the epitome of elegance and beauty, but she's an amazing S-tier support. And today in this video, I want to show her off and show you the strongest meta teams that I've been enjoying her on the most. Now, warning alert, this will be a huge whale showcase. Not only did I C6R5 my queen, but basically most of these teams I'm using her on in this video are fully decked out, full C6R5 teams, most of which are also top ranked on the Akasha. If you just want to see insane damage numbers from the strongest whaled out meta teams in this game, you've come to the right place. A lot of these teams I will be showcasing were already strong enough in their own right without Xilonen, but her addition to the teams has really elevated them to new heights. In this video, I'm going to cover my top 5 strongest and most favorite Xilonen teams, so let's get started. So let's start with the team that everyone is raving about, the most popular team that Xilonen probably gives us the most significant of a buff to, Neuvillette, Fiorina, Kazuha, and Xilonen. Now we all know Neuvillette needed this buff as he was super weak, so thanks Celestia, Xilonen came around and gave him a much needed boost. Okay, no, but in all seriousness, this team did not need a buff, and the fact that Xilonen has elevated this team's damage into the stratosphere is actually criminal. For how easy this team is to play and how insane it is against both single target enemies and groups of enemies, it's actually quite disgusting how strong it is. At this point, you may have heard that Xilonen is sort of a side grade to Kazuha on Fect teams. That is teams whose damage originates from the 4 swirlable elements, Pyro, Hydro, Electro, and Cryo, and with my testing, I would have to agree with that sentiment. But having said that, now might be the perfect time to mention that from what I have experienced, the teams that Xilonen seems to benefit the absolute most from is teams where she doesn't replace Kazuha, but in fact works in tandem with him. And this Neuvillette team in part owes its success to that fact. Before Xilonen, this team used Zhongli on Archaic Petra, and while Zhongli does boost the entire team's DPS, it was easy to swap him out for Xilonen as her buffs are significantly stronger still at improving the entire team's damage.
Shower me with the... Hear the echoes of the valley! Let the world collide!
Clouds high, the birds come!
The tides beckon.
So, as you can see, Neuvillette power washing the Capybara in one rotation. Extremely strong, extremely crazy. You'll notice Neuvillette was doing 220,000 damage on his charge attacks, which is actually kind of insane. All right, let's move on. Now, Arlecchino is an interesting addition to this list as she already had 2 viable teams that are very strong, and currently, in my opinion, she is closely tied near the top with Neuvillette as having the best combination of sheer combat strength with great ease of use when it comes to battle mechanics. Pre-Xilonen, she also had 2 very strong teams with Vape and Overload. You obviously can't fit Xilonen in the Overload comp as it requires only Pyro and Electro teammates for all 4 slots with Chevreuse. And the Vape team is already quite strong on its own, even without Xilonen. For this showcase, I've opted to once again abuse the combination of Kazuha and Xilonen to really boost Arlecchino's damage to unthinkable heights. We also opt to forgo Vapes with Yelan, and instead use Bennett to make the setup easier, as Bennett makes both swirling and crystallizing Pyro a lot easier. This seems like a great time to mention that for a lot of teams I tested that were Fect DPS characters, that I chose to test both Kazuha and Xilonen together with, it almost becomes mandatory to make the 4th character the same element as the DPS character to get both the swirl and the crystallize off for maximum benefit. You need the swirl to trigger Kazuha's Viridescent Shred, and the crystallize to trigger Xilonen's Cinder 4-piece bonus. The exception to this is of course if the DPS is a catalyst, as it's generally easy to do a normal attack to apply the desired element to an enemy. Alright, let's get into the showcase.
Everybody stand back!
Clouds high, the birds come!
This is where you fall. Overruled.
So as you can see, Arlecchino literally popped off. We got the Capybara down in one rotation. Very easy. Like I said before, she's literally top 2 in the game, in my opinion, as far as DPS goes. You'll notice we made it easy to swirl and crystallize Pyro with Bennett. That actually helped a lot. You'll notice too, I did not do any Bond of Life cheating here. We technically could come into this domain with a full bar of Bond of Life, but we do not choose to do that. Now, Mualani is a newer hero to the game, and it's great to see her in this showcase. While she is at times really clunky to play, she is a powerhouse unto herself that rivals both Neuvillette and Arlecchino. If anything holds her back, it is how difficult she can be to play, and she is somewhat of a reset queen where you might have to keep trying a run multiple times to pull off the perfect run, where all of your hits vape and everything goes smoothly. Mualani on her release has been in dire need of supports that elevate her gameplay, as the roster at her release, while adequate, definitely did not unleash her full potential. But let me just say here and now, Xilonen has already brought huge momentum to what Mualani can pull off, and I think she'll only get stronger with more Natlan supports. Mavuika. As mentioned before, since Mualani is a Catalyst user, it's easier to set up both Swirl and Crystallize with her for Kazuha and Xilonen, and since her damage is very heavily reliant on Vapes, this works in her favor, as her 4th hero can be a Pyro with no issues. In this showcase, we opt to use Dia for some flavor, and because, well, I hate Xiangling. I'm sorry, I just do. I can't help it. I hate her. I want her to go away. Please leave.
Look alive! Let's ride! Woohoo! Amazing! Surf's up!
Wind Strider.
Alright, as you can see, Mualani popping off with 1.4 million damage. Absolutely crazy. You'll notice I used her normal attacks to both crystallize with Xilonen and to swirl with Kazuha. And really not much more to say beyond that. Absolutely slaps. So imagine what Mavuika could possibly bring to this team. Imagine how much crazier this could get if Mavuika is a prominent Pyro applicator who also buffs damage somehow. Because Dia here is literally just a placeholder. So I'm really excited to see what Mavuika will bring to this team. I hope she's actually super cracked. Alright, now let's leave Feck behind and get into a Geo comp here with my favorite Oni, Arataki Ito. I have been an Arataki Ito stan since the beginning. He's one of my first C6R5s. I absolutely love this guy, and I'm so happy to see Xilonen elevate him to such a grand position. I want to note this team is only viable if Xilonen is C2, as it allows you to run 3 Geo characters because C2 makes Geo samples always remain active. You can do this Navia style where you play with 2 Geos and 2 non-Geos, 2 Feck units. It's not quite as strong. I have playtested it. By having Xilonen C2, this allows us to slot in Goro, who is a huge boost to Geo damage dealers. Combine this with the fact that since Xilonen is also a healer when she bursts, and her C6 heals the entire team slightly on her skill, and that Goro also heals with his Constellation 4, this all comes together to make Furina an amazing 4th party member. The combination of all these elements has truly brought Ito out of the dregs of Mono Geo and into a new light where he can shine as he so rightly deserves. The damage increase here is seriously nothing to laugh at.
May I present? Let my name echo in song!
Press the advantage!
Hear the echoes of the valley!
It's showtime! Attaboy!
All right, Ito absolutely smashing it. Did you see the 350k Ushi at the beginning of his burst? Actually crazy. Then he follows it up with almost 200k charged attacks during his burst state. Honestly, insane. One thing I do want to note is Xilonen C4 does increase the first 6 attacks of Ito's burst, which is crazy. So the Ushi gets a big boost from that and the first 5 charge attacks. After the first 5 charge attacks, you'll notice the damage tapers off a little bit, but still very impressive, about 150k per swing. Not really much else to say beyond that. All right, let's move on. And the final team brings us to another Geo DPS, my girl Navia. I cannot express how utterly shocked I was by the performance of Navia with Xilonen when I first tested it. Replacing Chiori while sad felt great, as Chiori is just a strict off-field damage dealer and wasn't really bringing much else to the table. Now, while Navia is a Geo DPS, we forego Goro as Navia's A4 passive is maximized with 2 Feck units on the team, leaving Navia and Xilonen as the only 2 Geo heroes remaining. The 2 Feck heroes we went with are Furina and Bennett, as they offer the highest damage boost for an attack scaling hero.
Attack! Strike a pose! Time to shine!
Hear the echoes of the valley!
I'm going in! Hey there! Aha! Ah! Hey there! Fire! Well, with bombs. Hey there!
All right, as you can see, Navia coming in clutch, absolutely destroying the Capybara in one rotation. Now, you'll notice we did get off 3 skill attacks. This can only be done at the beginning of a domain. Obviously, you have 2 charges of her skill saved up, so you're kind of able to play with that a little bit at the beginning of a domain. Now, you'll notice the 3 attacks. The first did about 750k damage. Very, very strong, but the second and third one, we almost did 1 million damage on her skill attack, which is crazy. Could you imagine if I had R5 Verdict, we probably would break that 1 million damage cap. All right, guys, this was my 5 favorite meta teams wailed out with Xilonen. I hope you enjoyed the showcases. I do want to mention I tried a lot of other heroes. I did a lot of playtesting. We tried a lot of other Feck DPSs, Risley, C6 Urena, C6 Xilonen, Raiden. None of them were quite as good. You'll notice with the 5 teams I just showed you, we were able to do 1 rotation and kill the Capybara. Most of these other teams either came close or they maybe only did half the damage. I'm going to show a reel of a lot of these other DPSs here. I'm just going to stop yapping and we're just going to show them. So enjoy.
Gotcha. Quietly now. Let my name echo in song.
Things are about to get dicey. Clouds high. The birds call. But the mountains may boil.
This is trouble.
Busted. Bring it. Letting great names echo.
Let my name echo in song.
Letting great names echo.
Adorn my...
Rest and rebuild! Torrent, bring refuge!
Shine down! Let the mountain's veins boil!
Fallen leaves. Adorn my...
Glory to the Shogun! Flash! Now you shall perish! There is no escape! Transcend all constraints! The mortal plane of fleet! Hear the echoes of the valley!
Everybody stand! Eat this! Boba, get them!
Have a safe trip. A moment, please.
Alright guys, well I think that about wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the crazy damage showcases, and be on the lookout. I will be posting a C6R5 DPS Xilonen video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!